doing some special recognition for some of our students and community members. First, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Bag and Baggage. Bag and Baggage is Hillsboro's only professional theater troupe, and they are led by a Hillsboro High School graduate alumni. Over the years, they have partnered with our school district to provide the 10-for-1 program, which in every time tickets are purchased in bundles of 10, one free ticket was available to a high school student. That program has actually evolved over the years, and now every student that is high school age that lives in Washington County can attend any performance at Bag and Baggage for free, providing the arts to everybody. And it's open to students who are in our online school, if you homeschool, if you attend one of the private schools. And so we really want to help spread the word about this really amazing program and gift that Bag and Baggage is doing. In addition, Bag and Baggage's current production of Arthur Miller's The Crucible is the first in which high school students have had the opportunity to participate as actors and members of the production crew through their new pre-professional training program, which is a very unusual program. I haven't heard of this, and having had drama students in my family, this is a real blessing for students who are looking to actually work in the arts for their career. The training program is made possible by grants from the Ritz Family Foundation, the Reeser Family Foundation, and the Hillsboro Arts and Culture Council. And currently there are 9 students from Glencoe and Hill High who are gaining the opportunity to work in a professional theater on the set of The Crucible. And so if you haven't been, this is their last weekend of the show. Runs Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. And tonight we'd like to recognize Artistic Director Scott Palmer so he can explain a little bit more about the student involvement programs that they have, and the importance of Bag and Baggage's vision of making professional theater enjoyable and accessible to people of all ages. So I've invited Scott up, and he also brought a couple of students with him. One looks really familiar. One looks really familiar.
Thanks. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking. I'm going to let them. I know I didn't tell you you were going to say anything. I'll give you a second to think about it. My name is Scott Palmer. I'm the Artistic Director of Bag and Baggage. And not only am I a Hillsboro High School graduate, I also attended Lad Acres Elementary School, Reedville, Indian Hills. I was there when all of those schools were sort of shifting all around. Brown Junior High School, and then I am a proud graduate of Hillsboro High School, class of 1986, go Spartans. Yeah. And while I was a student at Hillsboro High School, I had the opportunity to travel down to the Oregon Shakespeare Festival with a group of students from the drama club there and saw my very first professional production of Shakespeare, a production of King Lear. And I was the only student in a group of 30 of us who wanted to stay past this first intermission to find out what happened in the show. And our drama teacher said, if any of us want to stay, we're all staying. I was the only one to raise my hand. None of those people are friends of mine. But that experience started my career, literally started my career in the professional performing arts. I was fascinated by the production. I was fascinated by Shakespeare. I went, and I'm not proud of this, but because didn't want anybody to know that I was a Shakespeare geek, I borrowed a copy of Hamlet from the Hillsboro Library because I didn't want anyone seeing me reading it at Hill High. I still have that book. And given how old I am, I can't imagine that I have enough money to pay the fines. I've recently donated a complete works to the library, so forgive me. But providing access to professional performing arts has always been a passion of mine. When Bag and Baggage first started 7 years ago, it was the very first decision that we made as a company was to ensure that students from Hillsboro had an opportunity to see the work that we were producing downtown Hillsboro at the Venetian Theater for free. That was 7 years ago. In the first year, we had 72 students from Hillsboro high schools attend performances for free. This year, we've expanded the program, as you mentioned, and changed the name. It's now called Passport, and it provides access to any high school student, aged high school student from a regular high school, online academy, a private school, a tribal school, educational district from Washington, Columbia, Tillamook, and Yamhill counties. That's 86 high schools and a student population of more than 30,000. And this year already, just in our first 2 shows, we've had more than 700 students attend our performances for free. And as was mentioned, the other thing that we've decided to do is, I'm not getting any younger, and neither are any of the actors, so we need to start training up the next generation of professional theater artists. And because I came from this community, and because so many of the actors and people that we work with in Hillsboro at the company also come from this area, we decided that a professional pre-development program for students interested in a career in the performing arts would be the next step in the evolution of our education and outreach program. And so 2 of those students are here tonight. One of them is backstage wrangling a group of 20 actors in the dressing rooms, terrifying, scary people that Allie is more than capable of keeping under control. And also Emily, who is performing on stage. So I'm just going to ask them to say a very quick couple of words about the experience of working with Bag and Baggage and be nice about me. Especially.
Alrighty. So, my name is Emily Upton. I get to play Mercy Lewis in the production, and it has been just a blast. And it is a blast. It's still going on the weekend. So, yeah. It's been a just incredible experience to be working with Scott and to be working with Cassie Greer and a whole bunch of other professional actresses that are in this community, and ones that we've got to watch on stage and you know, admire from afar, and then get to meet them and work with them. It's just been amazing. And I want to be a professional actress. I guess I am a professional actress now. But later in life, I would like to continue with that. And this has just been, it's been wonderful to see that this is actually what I want to do. You know, you're kind of like, oh yeah, that's a dream that I want to do, but you never actually get the experience or the opportunity to do it until you've gotten out of college and already gotten the degree, so you better go for it. And so now I get the opportunity to actually be in a professional production and say, yeah, this is wonderful. I want to pursue this, and it's been amazing.
All right, my name is Ali Strelchin, and I have been like assistant to the assistant stage manager of this production. And I've been a runner for the show, and the great thing about Bag and Baggage, I've been seeing their shows for years, and it's amazing to be a part of that community on stage and backstage. And you don't get that experience. You don't really get that opportunity to intern in Portland or go somewhere, but Bag and Baggage is like 5 minutes away from my house. And most students don't get to say that I've worked at a professional company. Whereas now I have a complete portfolio builder. I have things to tell schools that I'm looking forward to doing these jobs and continuing them in college and my career, and I have things to back that up. It's been amazing to work with these professionals and to work with other students and the people around me. It's super welcoming. It's an amazing program. I can't stop talking about it. It's just a wonderful experience that sometimes schools can't offer, other companies can't offer. It's very different. It's very unique to Hillsboro, and I appreciate it. It's been wonderful.
This little photo opportunity that we always do with these kids.
Nice. Cool.
Here. And so,
Can I say something? Can I say something while you're taking a picture? No. Because I had the pleasure of seeing both Allie and Emily on stage. And Emily was a Hillsboro Teen Idol winner. So, yeah.
She didn't have that on her resume, but she
Yeah. And so, definitely can hear that she'll be on Broadway plus I play musical. So.
Thank you all so much for this honor. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I will just add, not since all the actors can be here tonight, I think one of the most amazing things that I've heard from the actors who are in the play is how much they've been treated like professionals. They've never been in this experience treated like high school students or interns. They've been treated and respected like their colleagues and the adult professionals, which has been a pretty amazing thing. So keeping with our theme of college and career and giving our students access to what's coming after they leave our doors, tonight we're also pleased to welcome students from the school district's IGNITE program. IGNITE stands for Inspiring Growth Now in Teacher Education, It is made up of 24 Hillsboro School District students in the 10th through 12th grade who are interested in becoming teachers. The shared purpose among the student members is to strengthen the student voice in Hillsboro School District as well as in the greater community. The group will explore college and career opportunities through internships, committees, and mentorships to gain valuable experience in the professional world. The group will meet bi-monthly, September through June. Meetings will feature guest speakers from the school district who will speak about vision, career opportunities, and leadership development, and from post-secondary partners who will talk about activities like on-the-spot admissions, scholarships, and FAFSA workshops. So now we'd like to invite Ms. Brooke Nova and Becky King-Smith up to introduce their team and tell us a little bit more about the program.
We were going to pretend that we were doing a choral performance for you, and because I know that's how a lot of these start, as I am a self-proclaimed number one fan of the school board meetings. So, but we decided not to do that. Ignite has been such a great piece of my work so far because I love meeting with kids. And it is true that what was just shared with us from Bag and Baggage is so important in this work of college and career programming. It's creating the internships, the mentorships, those hands-on learning experiences that really is the heart of this work. So I love that I got to hear about another career pathway and the work that is happening with our Hillsboro students. Through Ignite, our students, what it's all about is growing our own, right? It's about growing our next generation of actors. It's about growing our own next generation of educators. But it's also part of what they know about education in the long run. No matter if they do stick with education or they decide to be a small business owner, that insight can, in the future, benefit us in terms of education. Coming back to Hillsboro, having that insight, that wisdom. So what we feel like we get to instill in our youth, we know is going to come back to us. And that's what's so exciting about the work. So how did this idea come? How did this happen to be? So I think I am so blessed that I grew up in Hillsboro, and I've had so many people that have been mentors in my life. So part of the growing your own model is what you see before you. And that was a piece of the vision for me of starting this program, is giving back to what so many people in our school district gave to me. A big piece of it last year too was inspiration of future leaders. I have to share with Mike and Steve, the work that you do in that group is amazing. So as an adult, to be able to have that is invaluable. So I was thinking, how can I do that for youth? How can I take what has been given to me through that program and start to build that even in an earlier age? So that was a piece of it, as well as the work through OwnWork. And Debbie was so kind to invite me to start doing that work last year. But how do we start this growing your own model for educators? And the last piece is through YAC, the Youth Advisory Council, the work that I've done with YAC. Also, those three things started to kind of piece together and have this vision of Ignite. So what I did is, my partner in crime here, my near and dear friend and also coordinator of secondary teaching and learning. Sometimes I just bounce crazy ideas off of her, and this one stuck. And I go, Becky, what do you think about this? This is my idea, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Are you interested? Are you game for it? And maybe I just caught her on an off day. Maybe she was lacking a little bit of sleep. I don't know. But she was like, yes, I'm totally on board. I want to help you. I think this is a great idea. She last year was TOSA, and I think being reconnected with kids on a bi-monthly basis was really inspiring for her as well. And I know that both of us have just been so excited about the work that we've already done with our students and the work in the future that we have planned for them. So she's going to talk a little bit about the process of how these wonderful people are here today.
Thank you, Brooke.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share a little bit about the application process we went through and how we got to our first cohort of 24 students. So we have a representation of some of those students here. So Brooke and I were strategic strategic with contacting all of our counselors at all of our high schools, as well as reaching out to some of our career pathway teachers, and then some of our student clubs like Becha and LIAC, in order to actively recruit our students out there who are looking for some leadership opportunities. So we visited some of those classrooms and did classroom presentations on what this would entail, as well as visited some of those after-school clubs and presented to them as well. And so students had to fill out a 2-page application where they had to answer a series of essay questions about their career goals and their leadership aspirations and some of their leadership experience to date. And then they also had to get a letter of recommendation from either a teacher or a coach or some sort of adult mentor who's kind of worked with them at on a level that could attest to some of their leadership qualities. And I have to say that it was amazing to read some of those letters of recommendation, how gushing some of our educators were about these fine individuals. So we then took all of our applicants and we held group interviews at each of the high schools. So Brooke and I went to the high schools and met the kids there, and then all the kids from that high school did a group interview together. So we wanted to provide that real world experience of what a group interview looks like. I know that in my career, my time interviewing, that I've had to do group interviews before, and that's sometimes a little awkward. So being able to give them some of that real life experience, but also gave us an opportunity to see how are these individuals going to work together as a group, as also for them to highlight some of what they bring to the table. So from there, we created our first cohort of 24 students representing all 4 of our comprehensive high schools to be our first Ignite group. So I'm going to finish talking because the real highlight here are these fine individuals who all have prepared statements to you about some of the work that we've already done this year and what work we're going to continue doing. So I'm going to bring Saul up first, and he's going to share a little bit with us about our shared purpose as an Ignite group this year.
I've got it, Brooke.
Hi everyone, my name is Saul Diaz. I'm from Glencoe High School. When I think of my career aspiration, I hopefully want to become a pediatrician, but as I work more and more with teachers and Ms. Nova, teaching has been coming into my mind lately. My hopes this year for the Ignite program is to strengthen the students' voice in their own education. A little bit about Ignite is that Ignite is made up of 24 Hillsboro School District students ranging from the grades 10 through 12. Our purpose is to develop skills through leadership, explore college and career opportunities, and volunteer throughout the community. But most important is to strengthen the students' voice in the Hillsboro School District as well as greater in the community. We plan to accomplish these goals by accepting everyone's opinions, taking advantage of our opportunities, listening to our peers. We are excited to have this opportunity to share our voice in our school district. We are open and excited to have a continued dialogue with the school board and HSD staff to discuss how we can work together to increase the number of career-related learning experiences. And district can help connect those experiences to our peers. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Natalie Gavoa. I'm a junior at Hillsboro High School. I'm not sure what I want to be when I'm older, but I do know that I want to help people. One thing that I love about Ignite is the inspiration among my peers. Everyone here decided to be interviewed to join because they want a bright future, and I believe it's important to try to be the best that you can be in order to have a successful future. Ignite has helped us have many opportunities to work on skills for our future. For example, last night at our meeting, we have, after having amazing and very motivational guest speakers, we had the opportunity to run for positions in our group. We could choose to run for a co-chair, multimedia and communications, secretary, historian, volunteer coordinator, or school liaison. You have to come up with good reasons why people should vote for you, and it's very important to get the practice of public speaking, because in the future, you know, with college and certain careers, you have to be good at talking in front of a big crowd. And so far, we've only had 2 official meetings, and I've already earned a lot of, you know, valuable information from Ignite, so I'm very excited about the future.
Hi, my name's Brianda. I go to Glencoe High School, and I know what I want to do in my life, and I know I want to be a teacher and work with other students and help them through the process of getting to college. And I'm so grateful to be working with Miss Nova and Miss Kingsmith, because I see them and I see myself being them one day and helping them, helping students with the whole application process and internship and more opportunities. Kind of like what Sewell said, if I have an advantage or I have an opportunity to do something that I may or may not be interested, I will do it because I know I will gain something from it. And that's what Ignite is. You gain skills and you learn about different careers that you probably will never be interested in, but it's kind of the process of elimination to reassuring what you really want to do. And I'm very, very thankful for those opportunities that they've done for us. And with that, we've had very, very amazing guest speakers that have come to our meetings, and they, just like yesterday, we had 5, and they all shared their stories, and it really, really touched me and all of my other members, because it showed how they went through a lot to get to where they are, and they don't regret it, and it was really, really hard. And they are really happy with what they have accomplished, and that's what I want to say when I'm older, that I've accomplished something and I want to make a difference in students. And so, yeah, I'm really thankful for all the opportunities you guys have given us.
Hi, my name is Giovanni Salazar, and I'm a senior at Glencoe High School. And I'm privileged to be a part of this Ignite program because this program helps us prepare for college and fuels our interests in careers and education. And we've had the unique opportunity to hear presentations by bilingual educators in the Hillsboro School District. And that was interesting to me because, like them, I'm a Latino who wants to teach in a dual language program. And I want to make a difference in the children's lives like the teachers made for me. And my goal, and during our next meeting, we're looking forward to learning about college scholarship opportunities. And I think the idea of finding money to help pay for our college tuition was a huge draw for all of us in this program. And in the future, we will also learn how to fill out college applications. And thank you for your time, and we look forward to your continued support for the Ignite program.
Hi, my name is Marcela Marquez. I'm from Hillsboro High School, and I'm so grateful for Ignite. And something about Ignite is a privilege we have is that we're surrounded by leaders, and that I personally look up to. And I'm so grateful for Ignite offering me the opportunity to work with Gustavo Rivera with the bilingual seal, and just more about the language program. And it's not just going to be an internship, but it's going to be working with families and working with our community, and that's something really grateful, and I'm really looking forward to. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Lena Ingbertson. I'm a senior at Liberty High School currently, and I'm really interested in government someday. I'm doing something within the United States government, and I'm going to talk to you guys about the HSD kickoff event. We really didn't know what it was going to be like going into that, like, what is this, HSD kickoff? Sounds like school, right? But it was actually a lot of fun. It was actually a lot of fun listening to Superintendent Scott speak and Angel, who was a graduate of Glencoe High School, how they, I guess there were different views on education in general. Superintendent Scott talked about his early experiences of teaching at, I believe it was OSU, right? How he burned a hole in the TV. So that was really interesting, and also seeing my former teachers and current teachers all gathered in one gym together and kind of having fun and learning is fun. It can be a great time, and just seeing them like as humans, like it was really interesting for me. I love transparency and honesty. The public speaking was a really huge point for me, so thank you for reminding me.
I'm Hannah Solheim, and I'm a senior at Liberty High School. Right now, I'm thinking of becoming a child advocate lawyer, but honestly, I don't know what I want to do. Right now, I kind of want to go everywhere and study everything. So, a huge part of why I personally decided to apply for the Ignite program was the opportunity to strengthen the student voice in the Hillsboro School District. And a few weeks ago, we got our first opportunity to do just that. We got to review the SBAC handout and provide a student's perspective on the feedback. And that was a really cool opportunity for us because we got to feel like we contributed to something and that we changed something that actually went out to families in the school district. And hopefully that was also beneficial for you guys as well, and that proved the output of that. So as this program goes on, we hope to strengthen that and be a group that you guys can come to hear a student's honest opinion.
Hi, I'm Ruth Teplu. I go to Glencoe High School and I'm a junior. I don't really know what I want to do when I go to college or for my career, but I have a few things I'm considering, and education is one of those. We've only had a few meetings for Ignite, but we've done a lot in those meetings, and the experience has been really great. We've given a student voice with the SBAC handout Hannah was just talking about, and that's really nice to be able to give students the experience of giving their viewpoint, and also they've provided us with a lot of opportunities like filling out college applications, and we've had a lot of guest speakers so far, and yeah, the experience has just been really amazing, and I'm really glad to be on Ignite.
Hi, my name is Daisy Villaraldo, and I'm a senior at Liberty High School, and I joined Ignite because my little sister just started kinder and I'm a senior, so I thought it was like a good idea because I also work in a preschool that Liberty High School provides, so I think I'm focusing on early education when I go to college, so I just joined Ignite to see if that's what career I really want to do.
So that is the end of the presentation. I just wanted to know if you guys have any questions.
I do. First of all, I thought Ignite was a national program with this really cool acronym, Ignite. And it's not, right?
No, I just made it up.
Awesome. That is awesome. Seriously. I really think it was. And I think teaching is in everything. Some of you don't know what you want to do, but just in the great words of Maya Angelou, you get, you give, you learn, you teach. So whatever you do, whether it's a pediatrician, you are going to be teaching. So I think this is an amazing program that we saw an example of how you connected it all the way down to the trenches with the SBAC and getting that voice all the way to the top. Not that word, but how it works. I think a lot of students don't understand how, they don't. So I think in these 3 meetings? You and I should never hang out. But I am just amazed, and I want to join. So, can I join?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on, speaker.
Any other questions?
When is your meetings?
So, we meet the second and the fourth Monday of every month, and we rotate from one high school to the next. So each group of kids get an opportunity to host at their own school. So we do we do the month each at each high school. So we are actively seeking, if this is something you're like, I want to come present about my career and what I do. So like the kids said yesterday, we had some representatives from our bilingual schools and bilingual education present to the students. We'd love some of our school board members presented of what that means and how you guys contribute to Hillsboro School District, as well as any of our administrators or teachers or anything like that.
And just one more thing, the reason why we wanted to present early on in the school year too is so that you start to generate ideas of how we can use our group for sitting on committees, possible internship opportunities for our youth, any type of hands-on opportunity that's going to be something for an experience for our youth, we are open to. So that was something we wanted to start from the beginning of the school year, so they knew a little bit about what it is and put some faces to the program to move this program forward for this school year. So thank you for that.
I'd just like to thank you guys for coming, even the person that picked on me. Obviously, the leadership that exists within this group of people, the poise and the confidence that you're already showing is absolutely amazing. We would love to have you come back and work for us after you graduate. So well done. Look forward to seeing you. I will sign up to visit the group.
And you have the poster picture. Sorry for tradition. You can do jazz hands. Jazz hands. Jazz hands.
Oh, back behind the podium. Okay.
I just want to make sure
It wants to be really good. Help with that.
there. Perfect.
Awesome. And for all of our presenters, yeah, please feel free to not, if you don't, do you have homework to still do this evening? You don't have to stay and watch the board meeting. Our feelings will not be hurt at all. It's my high schooler. And with that, I would be looking for a motion to approve the agenda this evening. Second. It's been moved by Glenn, seconded by Janine to approve the agenda. Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And audience participation in board meetings is governed by policy DDH. Patrons may comment on specific agenda items at the beginning of the meeting or at the discretion of the board chair. They may be deferred to the time when the item is before the board as stated in the agenda. Comments about non-agenda items will be heard during audience time at the beginning of the regular board meeting. And this evening I have two, and they're both related to an agenda item. They're related to approving the revised school calendar. So I'll have you come up when we get to that topic. Okay. And then I'll be looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
And I will second that.
Any questions? Moved by Janine, seconded by Glenn to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we're going to move into some action items for this evening, and the first one is to appoint the Citizens Curriculum Advisory Committee members, which is some work we started in our work session this evening. Travis?
Thank you. The Citizens Curriculum Advisory Committee is an opportunity for citizens in the Hillsboro community to influence the district and advise the board on matters of instruction and curriculum and program development. So at this time we have 10 openings on the Citizens Curriculum Committee that are open for new appointments. And with Kim, I think what I'll do is read the names of the folks. And they have expressed their interest in participating in the CCAC at tonight's work session and will be appointed now by the board if the board so chooses. So Wendy Fresh, Karen Hansen, Mary Phelps, Diana Santiago Paz, Sherry Baker Anderson, Lynn Arlene Coffin, Michael Cunningham, Bonnie Louise Howden, Elizabeth Moore, Melissa Oviedo, Maria Camille Salcedo, Shirley Araiza Santailla, and Ruth Teklu, who you met just now as part of the Ignite group, have expressed interest in participating in the CCAC.
Janine? I would just like to, I'd like to make a motion. Perfect. That we accept them. I'd like to, as we discussed at the work session, accept them as a slate of candidates that I could be excited to accept the motion. I'd like to. Okay.
Second.
Perfect. Anyone have any questions or comments about Janine?
Yeah, I just wanted to just really say that I appreciate the process. I think this is a group, as Eric has pointed out too, this is a group that is growing in their role. And to have the type of leadership that we have at the district level, as well as with Lisa Allen as well as the chair, I think that this is an exciting move. And to be able to say that we have 3 students, 2 current and 1 that has just graduated, have this interest in taking on this role is really, it's exciting. So thank you so much for all your work that you've done to reach out to folks, to explain to them that this is needed and this is appreciated, and get them excited about it. So.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, so it's been moved by Janine and seconded by Glenn to approve the list of 11 candidates to the CCAC. I'm sorry, by Eric. I keep getting you 2 backwards tonight. I'm saying Glenn.
No, I would have seconded it.
All right, moved by Janine, seconded by Eric. My apologies. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect, motion carries. And I assume that you and Lisa will be in touch with everybody.
Thank you. We'll invite them. First meeting's October 6th upstairs. Everyone's welcome to attend.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Val, will you let us know about that meeting? Christine?
Sure. Those would be great to have on a calendar.
Sounds good.
Okay. Next is to suspend the review of our budget committee applicants.
Yes. We currently have 2 vacancies on our budget committee. And budget committee work doesn't really start until January, so it's not a huge deal, except that we have a board policy, DBEA, that says that the board will appoint budget committee members in September. We only have 1 applicant at this point for our 2 positions, so I would like to propose that we keep that vacancy open until the end of the month, and that we bring this back to you at the October meeting for appointment.
Okay. So,
I make a motion to suspend the review of the budget committee applicants until October 14th, 2014 meeting.
And I will say that.
no, I'm really bad context, but everything right. Does anyone have questions about them? Yeah, Janine?
I have questions. If we have community members that have a second language that they want to participate, how is that brought forth to them? That they, do they have the ability? Do we have translation available? Is that communicated with them?
I think the applicant.
We put it in Spanish.
Yeah, the application is available in Spanish.
And does it also mention the process? Does it mention that translation would be available during the meetings or anything?
I don't know that it specifies that.
No, but it certainly can. And it is available.
Any other questions? So it's been moved by Janine and seconded by Glenn to suspend the review of the budget committee applicants until October 14th. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah.
And next is to approve our annual review of the alternative education programs. Matt is going to help us with that.
Good evening, everyone. I don't have a flashy presentation like Brooke. I have Mr. O'Meara by my side.
No pressure, no pressure.
I want to take a minute to introduce Greg, but I want to lay a little bit of context. Over the last year and a half, we've realized that we needed to get into a cycle of evaluating all our alternative options in the Hillsboro School District. So last spring, we gathered together some leaders in Hillsboro and started to take a look at the programs we offer, and the purpose of that group was to really focus on, are these programs meeting the needs of the students in the Hillsboro School District, and what are the best practices that we need to focus on for our alternative programs for the Hillsboro School District. Mr. O'Meara is going to present the options that we have in place. This committee that we established last year will continue this year, and I know Mike brought it up to everyone. The purpose of that committee is to really take a look at what we're offering and to narrow it down and say, is this going to be the alt-ed options programs of the future for the Hillsboro School District? What do we really need to focus on to make them high-quality offerings for our students? So I want to make sure that you had that background information, that there's a cycle and a process in place, and we'll talk a little bit about that in our policy first reading coming up too.
Everybody.
I took away the computer. So from memory. Well, thank you for inviting me here tonight to talk about the alternative programs. I had an opportunity to sit on a committee similar to the one that was started last year. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And out of that came the Hillsboro Online Academy a few years after. And so it's exciting to revisit the alternative options in our district again and see if they are still meeting the needs of our students. And so I'll start with the Hillsboro Online Academy, which was born a few years back and now has expanded from third grade on up through high school, and it's been a wonderful option addition to our district. We also have Miller Education Center West, which is our, I guess, lack of a better term, most traditional alternative program where students fill out an application, go through an interview process, and we can see if we can meet the needs of their educational process, and then they're accepted into the program. And that's currently serving grades 10 through 12 students, students with disabilities, students with second language. It's open to every student in the district that may be looking for a smaller setting. Also on the west site is our 6 through 8 program. Again, through an application process, students can apply. We also serve students that have been expelled in 6, 7, and 8 at the west site. At the east site, it gets a little more complicated. There's a few more programs over there. We have our transition services programs through special education, which serves students up through age 21 that are working on job skills. We also have our GED program, which serves students that have dropped out of school and are looking for another option. And that we tutor them and mentor them and then prepare them hopefully for the exam, which they take at the ESD online. The system changed the past few years from a paper pencil test to an online test. They align the test to Common Core state standards, and because of that, it's become a little more rigorous, which is good. We also have at the east site a diploma program, which is designed for our fifth-year seniors that are looking to finish their high school career. And I say fifth year with a little caveat. We currently have fifth, sixth, and seventh year students in that program. And we look for students that have 8 credits or less towards completion and bring them in and again give them either original credit or credit recovery depending on what their needs are. The east site also serves our high school students that have been expelled as an alternative placement for them, and again working on credit recovery and or original credit. And then a program that we is called TOPS or Transition. Transition program is really a place for our students in Hillsboro to attend while the program that they've been accepted into opens up. So some of the students may go to OYCP, Job Corps, Miller West may be an option, and for whatever reason they're not wanting to currently attend their home school, and so we provide them an education until that seat opens up for them. So again, we don't risk them dropping out of high school. We have 2 other programs at East. We have HIP, Hillsboro In-School Program, and Connect, which are federally funded programs through Workspace Systems, Inc. Connect directly recovers our students that have dropped out, and again, we'll prepare them for a diploma or GED while giving them job skills. The HIP program is very similar to the Connect program in that we prepare our students for workforce or college or career, but they're in school, and so they attend their comprehensive high school or Miller Education Center West, and then after their regular day, they come over to the east site and gain additional resources for themselves. Almost done. 2 other programs that we serve through the alternative program is we serve pre-adjudicated youth at the Harkins House, and we have a half-time teacher there with an assistant, and then we serve 18 to 21-year-olds at Washington County Jail. And that's it in a nutshell. Yeah, let me make sure I've got everybody agreeing on here, because I think on this document, Matt, you have to help me scroll down, is home instruction, sorry about that. Students with health issues or IEPs that would restrict them from attending our comprehensive high schools, we provide homeschool instruction to. I talked a little bit about OYCP, which is located in Bend, and that is an option for our students, although not funded through our school district.
Yeah, and the other, as you can see in your board document, you also see some other options like Collegio is on there. We have a Gateway to College program, and those are programs that we contract through other people to provide additional options or additional pathways for our students as well.
Any questions?
We need to approve all the programs tonight, correct? So if I can get a motion first and then there'll be any questions and comments to approve the programs.
I move that we approve the list of programs as printed on pages 39 through 43 of our packet.
I second.
Perfect. Actually, does it say, I think we have to read it exactly. How is it not? Can you accept page numbers?
Is there a written down?
Just says approve the list of alternative programs. That's okay, I think. Questions or comments?
Yeah, I had a question about, two questions, is that okay?
Absolutely.
And it's probably for Matt. One, are most of these programs mandated by either federal or state legislature?
The way it comes out in ORS and stuff is that there are opportunities for us to provide alternative options for our students. It's not like these programs are mandated, but we know that providing options for our students and alternative pathways to success for our kids is a positive thing. It's my understanding, not knowing the full history behind the Hillsboro School District, but these programs have been developed in conjunction with many other local groups over the past few years, longer than I've been in the district, and that they've come to being. It's not like they're nationally mandated, I would say.
So it's a menu we've come up with to meet that very generic.
Absolutely, yes.
The second question was, do we get any feedback once these kids leave the program at 4 or 5 years after they've left? Any kind of feedback as to how they're doing, whether it made a difference, that sort of thing?
You know, one of the things that I think everybody feels when they go to Miller and hear their programs at Miller in particular is that community feel that we've always heard. Stan in his past role, Carol Lochner when she was there, they all did a really good job of bringing students back and having them talk to students in the school, explain their stories, explain how Miller, the other options that we provided, served them. We want those opportunities to continue. We will always look to expand our way to gather feedback from our students to better our programs. So I do know we have had that in the past, and I know we'll continue to expand on those options for our kids. And so we can use that feedback meaningfully to create our programs.
It'd be good to have maybe one come out and do a presentation to the board as well.
That'd be great.
And looking at the list of the different programs, Steve and I were at a Hillsboro 2035 meeting last night, and there's a real interest in this community for growing the gateway to community college. So other states, many people were referencing the Running Start in Washington, and how when you leave high school you have your diploma and your associate's degree. And so as you guys continue this work, I'm really interested in that model of learning more and how to help more students get some of that college experience while they're still with us.
Sounds great. That's definitely an interest of ours too.
One of the things to keep in mind is that this year you're going to be hearing quite a bit about the alternative ed options that we have, because we've got a committee in place that's going to review our current options and make sure that we're getting the bang for the buck that we need out of each of them. Some of these programs they've been in existence for a while, and it's time to review them and make sure they're still relevant, still accomplishing what we want, and make sure that we have the span of options that are going to be necessary for us. Some of them just frankly need to be refreshed. we need to retool some of those, and by exploring some best practices and doing some visits to places around us and other places, I think we're going to have some options that are going to improve our program.
I will throw in, there's one other piece that I think that was attached to your teamwork site. It's a flyer that was made over the summer just talking about our different alternative programs. One of the things we've realized is in order for us to really see if our programs are meeting the needs of our community and our students, we need to do a better job publicizing them. So you'll see that expanded as well.
That's really important, I think. Because as I took high school, for so many who don't realize that there are dual credit opportunities or that kind of gateway going to PCC being an option.
Right.
So something we've missed.
Janine? Plus, I think the perception of some of these programs are, as Mike pointed out, needing to be retweaked because the perception is, these are bad kids doing this or whatnot. And so there's some really wonderful stories out there and students that have overcome. If you have attended any of the Miller graduations, these kids have overcome a lot of obstacles to get where they need to get. So those are great stories to be able to highlight to folks. I'm kind of curious how so I think Monty's on the committee. How are others able to share ideas or thoughts on
You're not welcome. It's just mine. we can publish those dates and we can put them in our Outlook calendar. We don't have Google calendar. We can publicize those for you.
Well, I was just wondering too, not necessarily having to attend the meeting, but if there was other ways that we could
give input.
Just give input or ideas.
I say initiate Monty's in that box.
And then, gosh, there was one other thought, but it's left me.
Anyone else with questions or comments? Is your thought coming back before I move through? Okay. So it's been moved by Eric and seconded by Adriana to approve our alternative education program. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
I know what it is. It's about Future Connect.
Okay.
So does Future Connect, Matt, do you know if this answers? The Future Connect program, is that specifically, are those for students all across the district? Are they specific? Are they specifically for students? At the Future Connect?
Future Connect. So we're not talking about the Connect program that Greg just spoke about, correct?
No.
Future Connect is a grant program that we work in conjunction with PCC and the city of Hillsboro on.
Okay, that's the one I'm referring to.
Yeah.
And is it specifically at Miller, or this is across the district?
Across the district, correct.
Okay.
All right, and next is to approve, this will be a fun resolution, this is going to make Monty happy. Approve a resolution to appoint a new paying agent.
Yeah, this is, every time we sell bonds or refund bonds, part of the resolution that the board approves names a paying agent. And this is the bank that we make our principal and interest payment to, and then they distribute those funds out to all the bondholders. We currently have several different paying agents for different bonds. We recently went out for an RFP to consolidate all of those into a single paying agent. And the list you see, the bonds that you see listed there are bonds that currently have a paying agent other than U.S. Bank. So U.S. Bank was the successful bidder when we bid this all out. This will allow us to consolidate all of those paying agent services into a single agent, and will also save us a little bit of money. So that's what this is all about.
Okay.
But because you've already approved another paying agent, we need you to go back and approve this resolution so that we can read it.
I make a motion to approve the resolution to remove the Bank of New York and appoint the U.S. Bank as the district's paying agent.
I'll second that.
Anyone have questions for Adam about this? Okay, so approved by Janine, seconded by Glenn to appoint the Bank of New York, I'm sorry.
U.S.
Bank.
Approve the U.S. Bank as our district's paying agent. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is to approve the revised school calendar. This is one where we have audience participation. So I'll have Debbie present first, and then audience, and then we'll do questions.
Okay, third time is a charm is what I said. This is the third time with this, the 14-15 calendar. So on August 14th, as a board, you confirm your intention to support using increased gain share money to restore the district's calendar for the 14-15 school year. And so what you have before you is a revised calendar, and the changes that were made were that November 26th originally was a budget reduction day, and that's part of that Thanksgiving week. That day we changed into a non-contract day for staff, and then added an additional school day, a student instruction day, at the end of the calendar, which would be June 12th. And by doing this, it really had the least negative impact. This calendar has already been out to our community. People had made plans, obviously, around Thanksgiving and so forth. We felt it was probably the best solution to get rid of the budget reduction day and add the instructional day at the end of the school year.
And so we have two people. The first one is Maureen Barnhart, and then Charlotte, I'll have you come up after her. Okay, as a fun reminder, Maureen's done this before, because it's audience participation time, it's got the 3-minute rule.
Maureen Barnhart, 20450 Northwest Amberwood Drive, Suite 125, Beaverton, 97006. I have been directed by the HEA Representative Council and by many individual members to come celebrate the fact that we have a full school year again. The return of the final budget reduction day to the Hillsboro calendar should cause us to pause, however, and be reminded why we cut days in the first place, why educators were willing to make so many financial and workload concessions. The return of our 191st day should remind us to tell our story to the public, that Oregon schools are not funded at the level Oregon students deserve. With this first step, the return to a full school year, we're ready to roll up our sleeves and work together to fully realize what fully funded schools in Oregon should look like. You might remember the QEM, the Quality Education Model. It was developed by Governor Kitzhaber and Lynn Lundquist, and it had bipartisan support. The QEM was intended to carefully analyze the cost of a quality education and to put an objectively measured price tag to our educational goals. Right now, we're $2 billion short of that funding goal. We would like to work with you, the school board, to find the solution so that we can provide our students with the education they deserve, so we can be proud to be HSD too. One way we can all work together is that there's going to be an event at Pioneer Square on October 19th to support schools, to teach not only with rigor, but also to bring back art, physical education, nurses, libraries, all the wraparound services that ensure that our students receive the schools that they deserve. We know we can increase student success through appropriate class sizes, time for collaboration among administrators, classified staff, teachers, increasing our opportunities to deliver relationships with our students, to be coaches and not merely deliver new standards, to ensure student engagement necessary to move toward the 40-40-20 goal. Did I beat? And once again, the chorus is the same. We can do all of this, but we need to fund our schools. If Hillsboro School District can offer competitive compensation to bring the best staff to the district, then we will have the staff that support our efforts in the dual language programs and bringing STEAM to our buildings and in developing curricula that will allow our students to find success and in the futures of their choice. The full school year gives us hope. Let's join forces and make Oregon and the state and the Hillsboro School District the schools that students deserve. Please plan to come to our, with your community members, to our Quality Education Festival, but that's just the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. And next is Charlotte.
I also support the calendar day being added back.
We talked about this once before, and I spoke on the subject. Minutes matter. They matter to our students. They matter to our teachers. And any time you can put back just increases and enhances the opportunities of our students. No one can say which day that student will hear the message that I want to be a doctor. That day that the student says, you know, I don't have to behave and act like this. Someone's reached out to me today and I have an opportunity to change my life. What day will that be? One day. It happens in one day. It's happened to all of us in one day. So putting back that one day is far more important than simply this balances a calendar, this was a mandate, this was not. We can't help students if the school is closed. No teacher can, no counselor can, no bus driver can help a student if it's simply not open. I'm so grateful and hopeful that you will vote for that day back. I would encourage you to make our calendar whole. It will help make our district whole. We have had a very, very long struggle. And this, if nothing, is a symbolic healing of time lost and sacrificed by our members, by everyone in the district, by parents and students too. So I would encourage you to please put that day back. Thank you.
All right.
I move we approve the revised 2014-15 school calendar, direct staff to distribute the calendar and inform district stakeholders.
I second.
You have questions, comments? Janine?
I just wanted to comment. I, you know, as I mentioned last month, I was listening to, I'd spoken to folks about how they would choose to utilize this money, and would a day be a difference versus financial assistance and FTE and whatnot. And I appreciate all the conversations. I am going to be voting in favor of the calendar, especially when you look at it as the bigger picture of, I appreciate the message that Charlotte was saying too about just that one day, and I think Mike had a side conversation with me as well about just the importance of making sure that we have that full calendar and being able to serve our students. I think that I had to kind of separate my mind from, gosh, we had this money, couldn't we make more of an impact, and just really work towards making sure that we can continue those conversations, you know, with our legislators, because Oregon is one of the shortest school years, calendar years in the nation, and to have those bigger conversations, and to also, as Maureen pointed out, is the money that we are, you know, constantly struggling with, and we haven't hit that QEM model number for a very long time, and it sometimes just has become this unbelievable, you know, oh sure, set it up there. But anyway, I just appreciate all the conversation around there, and am I to understand, so we were at a half a day for the Thursday, so the Thursday is now a full day, and Friday will be the half day. How it's added on. So the calendar year was going to be a half a day on the 11th, and now it's going to be a full day. But the half day is being moved to. No, not the 26th.
No, on the 11th and 12th.
11th
Of June.
June.
Yeah.
Other questions? I would just echo, I think it's awesome. It's sad that we have to rely on what I'm considering handouts to get to a full calendar. I appreciate the county and the city for doing that, but it still is a gift and not a set in stone to help us be whole. But appreciate all the staff have sacrificed over the years when we've asked them to, and our community members, and just appreciate everyone's efforts to get back to this place. So with that, it was moved by Monty and seconded by Adriana to approve the revised school calendar. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Debbie, and I assume for our reporters in the room, we want that to be your headline, please. Full school year. Next on our action items is to approve the revisions to policy GCL, GDL, staff development.
Hi, I'm Connie Williams, HR Director for Licensed Staff, and we put up the policy for staff development review for 30 days in the August board meeting, and I haven't received any questions or feedback at this time.
Done everybody check them?
I move we approve the recommended revisions to policy GCL/GDL.
Second. Any questions or comments for Donna? Okay, it's been moved by Monty, seconded by Janine to make the approved revisions. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Con has a new person comes with years to that.
I was just going to say, yeah, that was like 30 seconds. That's pretty impressive. Honor your We're just going to slowly, gradually worm you in. So next is to re-adopt our working agreements. And
Sure. You had the working agreements there in front of you. We talked about those initially in our board retreat during the summer. We revisited those at our last time together, and so we are ready to approve them.
I think they're ready.
Wait, hold on, you said they're in front of us? I don't see them in the packet.
They're in the Google Drive. They're in the Google Drive.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I have a hard copy if anyone needs it.
When do you want a question?
A motion first, yeah, motion.
So I make a motion to readopt the board and superintendent working agreements. Second.
Okay, questions, comments? Yeah, Wayne.
So not to beat it at worst, but really just going after language. I know one bullet was split into two, and I think there was some. So this is page 3, where it's talking about identifying yourself, or is it? I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullet. And board members are encouraged to visit schools, and board members visit schools in their capacity. Such visits define advance of principal. Board members, blah, blah, blah. That one's fine. We split out the parent volunteer thing into the next line. When board members visit schools as a parent or volunteer, they will sign into the office and ask for a visitor badge. I think that's where that thought ends. The sentence coming after it had been bundled together as the whole thing, and it says advance notice is encouraged but may not be required in all cases. I don't think that statement applies the way it's written.
It's on page 3, communication with staff and community.
1, 2, 3, 4.
But halfway down.
6.
Got it.
It used to be, 2 of those bullets used to be together. That advance notice is encouraged but may not be required in all cases. That used to be the way the paragraph ended when the 2 were together somehow, as I recall.
Oh, because the way it's read.
The advance notice has nothing to do with the board member volunteering and stuff.
No, it does, because the previous bullet said the visits will be, when you visit as a board member, it has to be planned in advance, right, according to the previous bullet. This bullet is just saying when you happen to visit as a parent or volunteer, you don't necessarily need to give advance notice. Right, so if you're coming in to bring band candy, you don't have to call the principal in advance and tell them, hey, I'm a board member and I'm coming. Right, but the previous bullet says, if you come in specifically as a board member to visit the school, then you have to call the principal.
I understand what you're saying. I know that originally it felt like that line was directed, and we had this bunch of big discussion over how that contradicted the plan in advance, because that advance,
No, I think the language right now is the rewrite that we agreed on to fix that.
Okay.
Anyone feel strongly one way or the other on the sentence?
Well, I agree with Eric. That's what we agreed on.
Okay.
I'm super excited about that.
He wants everyone to know he's coming. All right. Any other questions or comments? So it's been moved by Janine and seconded by Adriana to re-adopt the working agreements between the board and superintendent. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, and I actually have the physical document that I will pass to you tonight to sign.
Quick.
And next is to nominate Oregon School Board Association board members. I did not hear from any of our board members express an interest in being putting their name in the hat, unless someone this evening would like to do that.
Did we hear, the candidates who they are at this point?
I haven't, so I think they have through this month to become candidates, and typically what happens at that regional meeting, so I anticipate that when we go to that meeting on October 1st, we will hear who in our county has not been nominated.
So we don't know if they're official or unofficial?
I don't know, no, I haven't seen anything. And this would just be an opportunity if there was a Hillsboro board member who would want to. Seeing no hands, I'm going to move beyond that item into reports and discussion. Tonight we get to see more students, which is awesome. Tonight we have with us the 11th grade dual language cohort, and I think I'll start with Steve, and you can kick it off and introduce all of our guests.
Okay, I will. You want to? Back again. Okay, and you have the clicker.
We're going to be over here.
Probably where it needs to be.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, good evening. We're going to move into a report on our dual language program, and I do have some visitors that will help me with this presentation. I'm just going to kick us off. Remember in the spring I talked about wanting to evaluate the impact of our dual language program, and that we would be contracting with Education Northwest to do a pretty comprehensive evaluation on whether or not we're making progress. Is our implementation producing results? So tonight we have Claudia Mojica from Education Northwest, who's going to partner with the rest of the team to go over those results for you. We're going to do it relatively quickly because it's getting late. But I did want to recognize that there are two students there that just seem to turn up every time we meet them. Diana and Will Stephen, who are students in our dual language program. You're going to hear from them tonight. But I just wanted to say thank you to these kids. They're just amazing, and I spent all day with them on Friday over in Portland talking about our bilingual seal, and they just keep showing up. So, okay, with that, I'm going to start us in here. Remember this chart. This is the Collier and Thomas chart that compared program models for bilingual education. At the bottom, that disjointed chart, remember that is the pull-out model. That is when we take students out for about 30 minutes to work on English language development. And you can see that over time, it proves to not be an effective model to get students college and career ready. The top line there is the impact of dual language. And so knowing that, our desire in our school district is to advance our dual language programs as much as possible, not only as a way to serve our English language learners, but also as a way to open up opportunities for all kids to learn a second language within the context of day-to-day instruction. The research, just wanted to make this clear, that we did with Claudia is to take a look at that top line and compare performance of those students to everybody else in our school district that match similar characteristics. It's not to compare performance in other program models, simply the dual language. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm going to kick it to Travis, who's going to set more of the context and introduce our cast.
Thank you, Steve. I just wanted to rewind just a little bit, and I know that I've presented on the bilingual program model before to the board, but starting back 5 or so years ago, a statewide group under the leadership of Superintendent Scott talked about the best program models and instructional approaches to close the achievement gap for English learners and bilingual students and other students in Oregon. We took the findings of that group and developed a bilingual program model, and we talk about our 3 highways: sheltered instruction, focused and integrated ELD, and bilingual programs. These are the research-based practices and programs that will raise achievement for all students and close achievement gaps as they exist right now in our current system. Thank you. Before I kick it to Gustavo Olvera to update us on the dual language programs and next steps with some state leadership moves that our students and staff are making on the seal of biliteracy, I want to acknowledge that we have some leaders in the room who have participated in developing our bilingual programs and are in different roles now. So, beyond Mike and Steve and their leadership on that original coalition of folks, we have Amy Torres, who has served at South Meadows in Hill High. We have Olga Acuña, who's in a district leadership role now too. Connor Williams has been a principal at a dual language school, so has Matt Smith. We also have Debbie Ashley here, who has led our human resources approach to recruiting and hiring staff who are bilingual. So thank you all for your leadership in developing these programs. Secret weapons here in the room for the cause of more opportunity for kids. Gustavo Olvera has stepped up into a new leadership role this year as coordinator of bilingual programs, which means he's in charge of these highways and is improving our practice across these different highways. Tonight he's going to talk about dual language education specifically. Gustavo grew up in Oregon, started his teaching career in a first grade classroom and was bilingual, was in on the ground level of some research from the University of Colorado around biliteracy, working with Kathy Escamilla. He's a coordinator of a winter institute at Lewis and Clark called the Alliance for Multilingual Multicultural Education. He provides professional development in Spanish and English. He's a multi-talented and influential leader in our region and our state. I'm honored to work with him as a bilingual leader, and I want to introduce him tonight as the leader of bilingual programs in the Hillsboro School District. And he has with him Flavia, Diana, and Steve Hugo to talk more specifically about where we are right now and where we're headed at the state level. So Gustavo and team, come on up.
All right, good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for this opportunity. And again, I want to thank the students because they're, like Steve said, they're always showing up. They're our little team. They're our little posse that goes everywhere we go. So Travis talked about the bilingual program model that started off as leaders from the district getting together and under the leadership of Superintendent Mike Scott and our Assistant Superintendent Steve Larson, and brainstorming around what kind of work was going to produce the best academic results for our students, and that is the bilingual program model. And this is research-based, and it has proven to show academic excellence in students. So this is why the research. We wanted, in order to be effectively implement one of the highways that we're looking at here, the first one, bilingual education, we wanted to see what kind of results we were getting, and as someone who coordinates in these professional development, it is not only going to enhance our instructional practices, but it's going to inform and enhance the way we do it. So it is going to provide clarity for the work that we are doing. And so to do that, we called upon Education Northwest, and as we mentioned, we have Claudia Mojica Rodriguez here, who is part of at Northwest, a nonprofit organization who is a group of people that kind of collaborate together to provide support to communities and school districts to build capacity within an organization, in this case being this Hillsboro School District. And like it was already stated, when we started this research, we weren't set out to prove that one highway is better than the other, because no matter where our students lie in these three highways, the goal is the top. It is being college and career ready, and we'll talk a little bit about the asset of some students will be able to read a bilingual seal at the end of their experience here with us. And so to get into that, we're going to start talking a little bit about the data here.
Thank you, Gustavo. And as Steve mentioned, I'm going to go over this pretty briefly, but we are open for questions, of course. When we're done, we want to make sure that we get to hear our stars of the night. Okay, so for the dual language program review, Hillsboro School District contacted us because they were really interested in zooming in on the dual language programs and identifying how the students that were participating in the dual language programs were doing compared to students that were not in the dual language programs on math, on reading, on their GPA, and on attendance. And they were very interested in doing this analysis, but really comparing similar students, right? So this is a bit of what we did. We decided to focus on the three first cohorts that were in the dual language program. And we focused on the cohorts that were in last academic school year in grades 8, in grades 9, and 10. And we also used statistical methods, specifically propensity score matching, to really create similar groups of students. We wanted to make sure that the students in the dual language program that we are comparing to the students that were not in the dual language program were as closely matched as possible on the following characteristics. We matched the students on current grade level, on what their home language was, on race, on gender, special education status, and their Oaks reading scores in grade 3, their Oaks reading scores in math scores, in grade 3 as well, and their limited English proficiency status when they first entered school. So it's really important to remember that the students we're talking about were as closely matched, right? So they were students in the dual language group compared to similar students that were not in the dual language program. So what did we find? For mathematics achievement, the students, the black lines are the students that are in our dual language group, and the line that's a little gray bluish were the matched group of students that were not in the dual language group. And overall, these figures show that for mathematics achievements, the 3 cohorts of dual language students performed just as well as the students that were in the comparison group on mathematics measures. And you'll see in the following graphs as well, we divided the information between the different groups of students. So current grade 10, which were the first group of students that went through the dual language program. The middle one is the current grade 9 students. This is again last year. So they were the second group of students that went through the program. And then current grade 8 students that were the third cohort. For reading achievement, still the black line are the students that are in the dual language program. The blue-gray line are the students that were in our comparison group. We found similar results. On reading achievement, our 3 cohorts of dual language students have performed just as well as the comparison students on the Oaks reading assessments. We also looked at grade point average, or GPA, and the dual language students have higher grade point averages than the comparison students. And this is broken out by grades. I see a little cheer back here. We also looked at attendance. And this figure shows that the dual language students also have higher attendance rates than the students that were in the comparison group. Again, the black is dual language, the other color is the students that were in our comparison group. So it's really important to look at the academic outcomes, right? But it's also equally important to think about the other benefits of bilingualism. And some of the benefits of bilingualism are listed up here. There are plenty of cognitive benefits that have been shown by the research. Students that are bilingual, and this also applies to speaking more than 2 languages, so trilingual, all of the languages, have been shown to have better developed executive control, right? This applies for all ages, not just students that are in elementary school or in high school, but across all ages. Bilingual people that speak more than 1 language, have been found to have better executive control. And what that really means is that you're able to bounce from one concept to another fairly quickly. You're less easily distracted, and you're able to focus on relevant attention a little bit more than monolingual people. And it's also been linked to delayed onset of dementia, which is really interesting as well. There are also economic benefits of knowing more than 1 language, and these are that there are positive effects for future earnings of college graduates. There are modest effects, and this is 2 to 3%, so it's not a whole lot, but there is, some people expect that to even grow, and there's a lot of demand for people that are bilingual in the workforce. There are also, of course, cultural benefits. Being bilingual really allows students to develop and to maintain cultural connections and relationships, not only within the family, but also within the larger community. So very quick summary of the results that I shared with you that were very quick. Although students in the dual language program spend much of their instructional time in Spanish, a comparison group of students that were matched on similar characteristics that were in English-only instruction shows that students in the dual language program perform just as well in math and in reading. And remember, these tests were in English. These tests were not in Spanish. So they perform just as well in math and in reading in English tests. And they have higher GPAs, and they also have better school attendance rates than students that were not in the dual language program.
Hey, who's that with the beach?
So, as the data shows that there are obviously some added benefits, but I just want to quickly, before we hear from the voices of students and some administrators, their perspectives, just going back to our bilingual program model, in what it states, it is the belief as a district as a whole that we see bilingualism as an asset, whether you're in the dual language program or not. Remember that that's only one highway, and this is only the beginning of our research, so we have a long ways to go, but we wanted to do this because what we wanted to make sure is that we are doing right by kids and that they are having access to equitable opportunities for everybody, and that not only that, but it's also going to help have that data to keep guiding the professional development that we provide to our dual language teachers, so that we continue to grow and increase the quality of the program. And again, it's very important to note that these are our 3 first cohorts. And if we think back when they started in 2001, it was a baby program. I mean, we're still growing it and continuing to enhance it, like I said, every year. So I can't even imagine what the results would be for students that are currently in our elementary schools and what this data will look like in 5-10 more years. So again, I want to introduce these rock stars. I want to, just a little context of the picture. These guys also go on the road with us. This is a picture taken at WALA, Association of Latino Administrators. And there you see the date, 3/15/14. So it was early on when, again, we jump on our bus. It's almost a tradition now where we get to hang out and chat not only about their experience, but about life and what their aspirations are. But more importantly, as Steve mentioned earlier, we also got to hang out. This was last Friday at the Bilingual SEAL stakeholder meeting at the state level with ODE. There's Mr. Rob Zaxton in the middle, standing there talking to these guys, very impressed with their work. They were amongst a panel of about 15 students. So Hillsboro School District was represented, Corvallis, and also North Clackamas. So I would like to invite our students, Google and Diana, to talk about what was it like to be part of the stakeholder meeting on Friday. Go ahead.
Okay. This was a lovely experience, I just want to say off the bat. I mean, it's really nice to feel recognized for a thing you do, but it's even better to feel recognized, not be recognized by yourself, but by the program. You can see everyone who's in the program is having lots of fun answering questions. Lots of fun.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, me personally, I didn't think it was going to be the way it was. I didn't think, I know I went through, struggles with this, dual language program. And I didn't know, that other schools like Corvallis and Clackamas were going through the same things. And it's like a family, and it's the same thing over there in Clackamas and Corvallis, too. And what I found most, amazing, or, I felt really good about was that the work that everyone has been doing for us, from, the adults, and it was just great seeing how you guys care about us.
Thank you. So I'd also like to invite Ellie Roberson and Pete Meilenberg up here to share their experience as we look into what is the future of this program. These are currently 11th, 8th graders that are getting to graduate next year. And again, part of the goal of this meeting is that we're working with state level officials to be able to not only, we're working on a Hillsboro School District bilingual seal, but to have it recognized at a state level so that when these students are applying for universities, they know what that means and that they bring true assets along with them, added benefits to as they start their college career. So now I would like for one of the teachers and coordinators at Hill High to talk about it, and also Assistant Principal Peter Meilen.
Right. Hi, I'm Ellie Robertson. I teach biology, and I'm also the part-time dual language coordinator at Hillsboro High School. So I teach dual language biology, so I teach biology and Spanish, and I also am an AVID teacher, which is a separate program. But I jumped into this role as dual language coordinator this year because we kind of saw a need for someone to be sort of touching base with students, specifically about the bilingual seal. So that's the process that I'm going to start working really closely with 11th graders on right now. I just went and talked to their class today. So kind of trying to get them sort of really aware of what are the expectations for the bilingual seal. In general terms, it's a portfolio of work followed by an interview with a panel their senior year to sort of be recognized for their bilingual and biliterate achievements, and also to give them potential college credit through Western Oregon University, as well as just sort of general recognition to set them apart from their peers. So, working as a bilingual teacher, it's been quite an interesting experience, but I thoroughly enjoy it. I think it's so important that students have the opportunity to either use their skills, their bilingual skills that they come with from the home, or to learn a new language. If they're native English speakers, we also have native English speakers in our bilingual programs at Hill High, or in all through up until Hill High. So, I don't know if Mr. Meilenberg wants to add anything to that.
I would love to.
All right.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Pete Meilenberg, Assistant Principal at Hillsboro High School, and so proud to have the dual language program at Hill High. You know, it's a program that provides challenging coursework for our students. And rigor to their day. The cool thing about the program is that it also, just as we challenge the students with it, the students come in and challenge us to up our game because they come in with this level of Spanish and intelligence that is so high that every year we're adding courses to the program, and this year we added an IB Spanish language and literature course, which actually asked the students to do literary analysis in Spanish. And so that's a very tough thing to do, literary analysis to do in English, but now these guys are doing it in Spanish. And so I'm so proud of the program and even more proud of these students. It is an honor to work with Ellie Robertson. It's a great program. And on the side, I must mention that it's a program that treats Spanish like it should be treated, which is as an asset and a strength that our students bring to our school and to our community.
Steve, can I ask you to share about what you did with the Timbers and how they made you show your video? You didn't get to talk about
This just keeps coming back to haunt you.
Okay.
We have a future, well, you can tell.
Well, what he was insisting on me telling was because of the bilingual program, I had this great opportunity to interview one of the Timbers players. I don't know if you know Diego Chara, part of the Timbers. Pretty good guy. Anyways, I got the opportunity to interview him, and I felt like I couldn't have done that without the dual language program. I mean, the dual language program has opened so many opportunities for me, not only for my own benefit, but for the benefit of others. I mean, how great is it that you have a little seal, your diploma, that says, hey, this person is biliterate. He can read it and he can speak it. They. And what I find so great about the dual language program and the seal itself is that what I want to do with it is I don't want to only use it for my own benefit. What I'm doing currently so far is, well, I just want to mention right now, I'm junior class president at Hillsboro High School, and I'm using that alongside the dual language program to kind of motivate fellow students, because there are fellow students out there who are not motivated, and a lot of them can easily succeed, and a lot of them also speak Spanish. So I'm hoping very much that with this bilingual seal, we get those students who are not motivated and motivate them and succeed, and, you know, increase that graduation rate like we all dreamed of. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me put you on the spot. So, the next steps are that a team from ODE are going to go in front of the State Board of Education and propose language around what a seal of biliteracy looks like with the feedback of folks like Hugo and Diana, Pete and Camille, and is that it? Oh,
And Teresa.
Yeah, and Teresa. So they got our students' feedback on what that should look like, what the recognition should be, and we may be asked to go and testify about our experience in Hillsboro. So I was really proud to be with these guys at Marshall High School the other day, and glad to thank you for your support being there too. Are there any questions about our program, about the research, about the seal of biliteracy that the board has tonight?
Eric, is that your turn?
So I just wanted to ask clarification about the research. I mean, I think these look like pretty amazing results. You know, I'm pretty impressed with these test scores, and you know, I think you're making a solid case here for this program. I think that's great. One thing I was kind of wondering about is the grade point average. Like when you've said that the test scores are comparable, but the dual language students have a higher GPA, isn't that an indication that the teachers in the dual language program are being a little looser with their grading than the other teachers?
Super good question. He says I wish. You know, we didn't collect any data to be able to look at how those grades were given out, so we really don't know. That'd be something that we could study definitely later on, but I can't really answer that question right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think your test scores are something that's objective and looks really solid, so it'd be nice to have the equal level of solidness with what you're reporting for the GPA.
One thing also, can I add? Yeah, one thing about the GPA is that students are absolutely in dual language programs, specifically like at Hill High, but they only spend about maybe 40% of their day currently. So it is, it's not like they're not only in dual language classes.
So maybe the dual language teachers are really slacking the grade.
We're just trying to really, exactly.
So I would say this too, because Ellen won't say this in her own defense, but she works in a professional learning community with other biology teachers, and they teach to the same standards and have common assessments. The instructions just delivered in both languages. So
That's a good answer.
They are not easy. No.
Try doing it. I wonder if that might speak to the relationship the students have with their dual language teachers. After all, relationship is probably the most important criteria in student achievement, is the relationship with the teacher. And I've been around a lot of dual language programs, so it's a relationship kind of beyond. So I highly doubt, I think those teachers set the expectations way up here because the relationship is here. The kids want to go here.
No, I want to go farther than that.
You want to But a couple of questions. So SAIL, the SEAL, does not exist, right? Not yet. We are developing. And is this something to be looked at? I mean, I don't know if Oregon has any other dual language programs, Vietnamese or, German or Mandarin or that sort of thing. I mean, is this something that's being looked at like on a, long term? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm coming from California. When it comes to dual language, I'm so proud that I'm where I'm at.
Yeah. So I'll start and please guys fill in whatever. So definitely we don't currently have one in Oregon, but you mentioned California. So that's part of the work that we did on Friday. We looked at other states who officially have a state seal of biliteracy, and the different stakeholders that went there. Obviously, we're talking about a Spanish-English dual language program that we have here in Hillsboro, but there's definitely others, Mandarin, Chinese, in Portland, Russian in Woodburn. So that would all fall into place. So it's not just Spanish and English exclusively, it's bilingualism in general. So and that is the interest. That's why all the stakeholders, because it is all these students are doing the work, and we want to be able to reward them and have it recognized at a university level, so that when they apply for colleges, they know when they're taking the student what that means.
It's right. That's awesome, and hats off. I am a huge proponent and supporter of dual language. I see the results in my own children. Some of who went to dual language programs, other who were not fortunately to be in the program. I'm just so excited that we're with the school district, that we're moving in that direction. And you guys aren't going to speak mucho Spanish like me without accents, if you don't know what I mean. But that's one thing that I would tell if I was not schooled. I didn't have the opportunity to have bilingual education, so a lot of my writing is really well now. But many years ago. So
it's okay. We will all have an accent. Eso no va a pasar.
Basic character.
Really good presentation. I appreciate the data. I had questions about. First question was whether the sample was within this specific area or this specific effort, or was it a larger sample? And second, whether it includes both native English speakers and native non-English speakers in the improvement benefits that come from the language.
So the information that I presented included both native English speakers and non-native English speakers. So it was both of them. Your first question was about the pool of students that were in it?
Sample size.
The sample size, right. So we focused on the first 3 programs, or 3 cohorts, to go through the programs, and the number was smaller. The very first cohort, the one that is now in grade 11, right, was only made up of 15 students. Same with the second cohort, was 15 students in the dual language program, and then 23 students in the third cohort. If we were to do this study again with the students that are going through the program now, those numbers would be larger, but those were the students that were in the program with.
So it's about specifically our group here.
It is your information, so your school district data, right? And the comparison students were also pulled from your school district, so it's all local.
We will be graduating our first cohort next year. Will be our first. Wow.
Questions or comments on this end? Janine?
I wanted to say a couple things. I just look at this program, again, as a wonderful option for our students.
to be able to have this opportunity. I do believe that you do earn a cord. Is that right? Cord for graduation.
Yeah, I mean, that is the plan, that they're going to earn an additional cord, something that is visibly recognizable, that it kind of sets them apart.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to mention a few things, that in the world, being multilingual is an asset. So I appreciate the comment saying that this program really shows the love, it says the love of being Spanish speaking is an asset. And so I think that that's really, that there are countries all around this world that teach 12 languages in a school and so on and so forth. So I think that when you're looking, at test scores and these opportunities, absolutely it can give you look at this, and that's fantastic. But this also boosts so many more opportunities, as the students spoke of, for these kids, and so for them in their lives. And it goes beyond the tests of how this builds their character and builds their story of education. So I think that that speaks. The program that you're working with and the students that you're working with, speak of that. And I wanted to mention that I love the comment that says this isn't, that I'm not looking at this not only for my own benefit, but to motivate others. And I think that speaks volumes as well. So I found this presentation to be very professional, to be entertaining, and to also be inspiring. So thank you so much for coming tonight and sharing this. And I look forward to hearing more success stories.
Thank you for your support. Can I just add really quickly that we learned when we were working with a statewide group on Friday that it really takes the support of a community and a board and a superintendent and a district leadership to help dual language programs flourish and articulate K-12. So thank you to the board for your broad support in a topic like dual language education.
I'd just like to know how else, you have other opportunities that if board members want to help promote that, how else can we be engaged in that, so to keep that ticker.
I'm curious to watch your data as more students go through, and so the Right Grade Initiative just released their first 5 years of data with Portland State, and English language learners grew 5 times more than their English-speaking peers when they had arts integration in their elementary experience. And so I just think that's one more layer of like I think with Henry, getting that experience. And so where's the trajectory for those students as well? And in my own personal parent experience, GPA and scores don't match. They don't match. Sometimes the computer test isn't the best way to whisper my kids. Anyone else?
So, Stephen, I get the feeling you may have known Mr. Meilenberg, not just through the dual language program, but maybe spent a little time in his office for other things? No?
Me?
They're perfect. They're perfect.
Yeah, and I just don't want to be lost that, I think the amazing part of this presentation is that dual language students do just as well or better test scores, GPA, and they're bilingual. That's the punchline, right? Is that not only do they do just as well or better, but they're bilingual and they're prepared for experiences that most of us are not. And I really just couldn't be more proud of this group. The expansion of our dual language program started with an options committee with which the board charged us to participate in 5-6 years ago. And the fact that we're here now and listening to students talk about it, have outside researchers coming in to measure our experience, and have some incredible educators who are sharing their experience is just incredible. Your commitment, your dedication, and the way that you look at language as an asset and not a liability is inspiring. So thank you. Appreciate it.
And thank you for paving the way. So I think of the 15 of you that really, I saw a group of the students from your cohort speak at a business leadership event. You paved the way and really impacted a whole community beyond Hill High in your cohort. So kudos. And now you get to go home and do homework.
Get those grades up.
Travis, do not
get sick of me yet?
Not yet. We're ready to hear about summer school programs.
So in your packet, there's a situation page regarding summer programs within the more comprehensive report. I've made this report a few years in a row now, and it used to be that we had a migrant summer program and an extended school year program, and then we added a dual language program, and then this summer it really started to expand the number of students that we were able to serve in our summer programs. You can see there that we have a dual language summer academy, student services extended school year, migrant summer programs for both elementary and secondary school. And this year we've added summer school programs at W.L. Henry and Lincoln Street, which were areas of schools of focus for us, and put some extra resources toward them, as well as a school that the McKinney staff decided to implement to remedy the summer slide, they call it. That was a staff-driven summer school at McKinney, and there's details on that. And then we've added a food program report because Cindy Longway and her team provide an incredible support to our summer programs in terms of breakfasts, lunches, and dinners. I wanted to highlight just a couple of things. One is that each of the programs monitors student data in terms of the targets that they want for kids in terms of literacy and math specifically, but also biliteracy in some of the programs because we're delivering instruction in Spanish and English. We total, if you add up the numbers of students served in each of the programs highlighted in the report, there are 1,389 students who benefited from summer programs this summer. We served 6,000 breakfasts and 8,800 lunches at Rosedale. We served 1,404 dinners at Liberty for students most of whom are working during the day and then attending summer school in the evening. And then we had 4,000 meals served in 14 days at Lincoln Street and W.L. Henry. So the impact of these programs for students is not just academic, but also in terms of nutrition and a safe place to learn in the summertime. So I wanted to also recognize the names of some leaders, particularly the principals, who are sometimes principals and sometimes head teachers at these programs. Christy Walters, Allison Paulus, Lindsay Garcia, Maria Eugenia Olivar, Olga Acuna, who substituted during a medical leave of one of our leaders. If you don't know this, we have a whole crew of folks who work through the summer and make these things happen, so I just want to acknowledge that. Thank you, Olga. Roberto Sanchez, Gustavo Olvera, Cindy Longway, Erica Pierce, Jamie Goldstein, and Christina Orozco, who are teachers and counselors who made some of those summer programs happen at W.L. Henry and Lincoln Street. Wendy Juden and John Peaty from Student Services, who provide an extended school year for students with special needs during the summer. Without further ado, if you have any questions regarding the report or the details, I'd be happy to answer them. I just thank you for the opportunity to highlight some of the successes we had this summer with students.
Do we track these kids to see if there's any data once they get back in the fall? And are they amazingly making great strides, or individually do we track those kids?
Two things that come to mind. We do in my experience at W.L. Henry, we would track that slide. We would track students' springtime literacy scores, and then in the fall, and those who got something in the summer did better. Under the Migrant Title 1C grant, we also track the priority of service students who have shown that their test scores are below average, and we make sure that the intervention we provide, in this case a summer program, bumps those scores, and we track that longitudinally in the careers of migrant students. I'm looking at Olga, who's
correct.
All the way
through graduation.
So in that way, yes, we could look. What would you like to see in terms of that data for those students who got that program?
I'm not sure. If we're giving this added bump, should we give everybody that added bump?
Yes. Are you suggesting year-round school? I heard a subtle emphasis.
I'm with you on that one.
No, I agree. Monty, one of the reasons that I'm proud of what we did this last summer is that we expanded a couple-fold the number of schools and then students that we were serving. And so I'm proud of that. I do believe that 3-month time impacts a lot of students, especially those who aren't signing up for a summer program or a camp that requires their parents to pay. So I'm interested in providing that opportunity for more students from the teaching and learning perspective.
Our method of instruction, or it's 40 years old as far as summer vacations. Kids got off for the summer to help their parents with their farm. We got to get away from that. We're in a new century. We let kids off the hook for 3 months and then have to spend the time in the fall to get them where they were in the spring of the prior year. It just doesn't make sense.
I agree. Thank you. And I think those afternoon programs are an answer to how we can help students who do have to work. Right.
Adriana, and then Janine.
Well, I just kind of wanted to echo what Monty said. I think just prior to this, we saw a great, it wasn't this scientifically, research with the dual language, but, you opened up and we got to see some growth. And I'm into, it doesn't have to be anything huge or formal, but I would really like to see some sort of tracking of some students, and only because, even as Monty's saying, we are operating from 40 years back or however, but even some sponsorship for some summer programs, and want to show some data to some private sponsors that may, a child, sponsors for the summer program for, I don't know, let's say I'm just throwing it out there, $1,000 or something. But I'm just saying it's that, and I'm not really into this, huge, make you guys do this whole workload, but I think we can take a group of just pretty much kind of what we did.
I think it's a great idea. I think tracking students over time would be the next level. We do the pre and post assessment, but if we could see students who had a couple years of that summer support and measure that and
get some feedback narrative from the teachers, because the teachers are the ones who are receiving these kids, and some of these kids I know when they go back to school and they've been in the summer, they're on target back on this first, you know what I mean? And there's a difference. So I mean, even that sort of, but.
I was going to add that what Monty had said about inferring about a year-round school, I think that I think out of educators and folks and maybe us sitting here, we all go, yes, we agree, because the model of agriculture working in the farms and whatnot we've moved away from that for the most part. But we also, it'd be great because I think Portland Public Schools has taken a portion of their certain schools and made those a year-round. So it'd be wonderful to be able to look at some of those. I think it's Portland Public, isn't it? Yeah, to be able to look at those models and say, okay, so we did this, absolutely fantastic that we stepped up and increased. If you read Jennifer's blog and just looked at her day by day, she was over at McKinney doing that program at the beginning, and looking at the steps and the hurdles and the excitement. If we're able to take those programs and say, okay, at these schools, we're going to expand it to year-round and move that to help those students, that would be something that would be fantastic for us to be able to look at. So I know that from the days back at the Nike Innovation, is it Nike Innovation Academy? Is that what it was? No.
Fund.
What was it?
The Nike Innovation Fund.
Fund.
Yeah.
Fund. Yeah. So I mean, to be able to see those days of just that short span and those students, to be able to take it to where you're at now and how we can build on that.
Thank you.
And for me, there were two highlights. One was the program that Ms. Pierce had at the Kinder Quick Start. I'm glad to see that we got to expand that to another school, because she presented on that. It was pretty powerful, the results they got.
Yep.
And at McKinney, kudos to the staff who came on. I know when Jennifer started the program, we were trying to figure out the lunch thing, and I love the flexibility of this district and of the nutrition services to figure how to accommodate that kids were going to be there and learning and having this recess time, and so rather than them going to another school that was serving lunch was provided, I love that everybody was nimble and made that happen.
Yeah, the support from transportation to food and all that is just incredible how we, as a district team, put that together.
Cool. Any other questions or comments for Travis?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have a series of first readings. There's quite a few of them. First one is drug, alcohol, and tobacco prevention. Casey.
All right, good evening. District policy directs an annual review and readoption of the drugs, alcohol, tobacco, and prevention programs. You have in front of you the updated model that we use in our district and that lists all the programs. I'd like to highlight a few of them. Just right at the forefront for the district health curriculum back in 2012, ODE did revise the health standards. We did quite a bit of work this past school year where we actually brought health leaders within our district together to start looking and collaboratively thinking and planning about how to fully implement the programs. That work will continue again this year. And as we move through the things that we do, again, I think it's always important to highlight our care team model. It's a model that has served us well over the years. It's a model in the state for others to look at. We do have care teams in every single one of our schools now, with the addition of a fully implemented program at North Plains. So it's something that our care teams that are led by our care coordinators provide that direct intervention with our highest need students and providing some opportunities for them to meet the needs that they're not getting in their home or in their family, and provide resources with the county, some of those services. The Blast and Zone programs, those are our after-school elementary and middle school programs that Parks and Recreation run. We serve 21 elementary schools with the Blast program in some form or fashion. Back when the program first started, there were 6 elementary schools, probably maybe 8 years ago now. We're up to 21 with those schools being able to provide some service for after school. It's a program that runs really the first part of October through May. They do take a couple breaks here and there, but it's a program that brings recreation and also some homework, academic structure for families after school. All the students in those programs are either bused to a site or they have it in their home school and bused home. Our school resource officers, we have a law enforcement person, a single point of contact at every one of our schools. Not many districts can say that. We're fortunate that the Hillsboro Police Department, which provides the majority of our services, also with the Washington County Sheriff's Office and North Plains Police, we have a direct contact. So anytime there's something in need for our schools, school resource officer is there to provide assistance. Specifically for this drug, alcohol, and prevention, our school resource officers do come in and provide instruction, focusing a lot at the younger levels, elementary, to establish those habits, but do have programs to assist in this. Our student safety survey, as you guys are aware, we do a school climate and safety survey every year at targeted grades. We use the state model. So there's 2 surveys. They run every other year. One of the changes that I made to this report this year, we used to compare the surveys year to year. So Oregon Healthy Teens and Oregon Student Wellness surveys. What I did this go around is I compared the same survey in 2-year blocks. What we found is the surveys, while similar, the questions are not exactly the same. So with this, you have the data that shows the exact same question at the exact same age to compare the results. So for example, in the Oregon Student Wellness Survey, it may ask a question about tobacco 30-day use, where in the Oregon Student Wellness Survey, it might not have that same time frame. So we were trying to always calculate how the comparable data with percentages. So what you have here, and we could always change it, but you have results from the 2011-12 survey compared to the 2013-14 survey with the exact same question. It's just there's a year difference in there. As you can see, I highlighted the decrease in student use as they fill out the say on the survey. So we like to think that that is meaning that our programs are driving our students in the right direction. I will say that the survey data, we are a little bit below in most areas when we compare the state. Certainly we've seen a decrease in the years since we've run this with the survey data. That's what I'm going to highlight right now. I'm here to take questions or comments about this report.
Eric?
Oh, so this is a question of this data chart. So here you're just comparing within Hillsboro from year to year?
Yes, so that's what I presented to you. Yeah.
Okay, so somewhere else you have a chart that compares Hillsboro against the rest of the state?
In the survey, we get the data back that all the districts compare. It's a fairly thick, comprehensive document. We just provided just a snippet of what Hillsboro is. We have the data, if that's of interest to the board.
Well, I think it'd be interesting seeing at least another column showing
a column of the same categories with statewide. Here's the numbers.
Just to figure out if this is a societal trend or is it actually something good we've been doing or something to add.
We could do that very easily.
Any other questions, Janine?
I just wanted to make a couple comments and a question. The SROs, I mean, I could comment on a lot of this stuff here. I just want to say that SROs is an amazing partnership in our district that we have with the city because they play not only the role of being a safety officer as far as for the protection and well-being of our students and staff, but also just the role that they play in role model and the things that they play in the classroom and in the school. So I think we're extremely lucky to have them involved with our district. The Family Resource Center, I mean, we should really be shouting from the hilltops as to the kind of support that they give families throughout our entire district. And it'd be great that if we were able to communicate with families that this more about the resource center, because so many families that I talk to, when they go through their clothes and they go to donate clothes, and they'll just say, I'm just going to take them to Goodwill or Salvation Army, and I don't want to diss those programs, but here's this program that is a tax-deductible program that is helping students in our own district. And so if we could somehow help them with either website, something, just to help promote that, to be able to really share, because they provide incredible support. And I would also be curious, just because in the past districts have had some lawsuit concerns regarding concussions and concussion reports. I'm kind of curious. I am one of those moms that has put my foot down and told my son, my youngest, that I'm sorry, you're not playing football because of the issues with that. Plays lacrosse, he's perfectly, but it's not that ramming in with the head and shoulders and neck and all that. But my personal, and I'm just curious how we look at that as a district, because there's been some.
I do feel good about our concussion management program. We use a nationally recognized program. It's called Impact. We've subscribed to that for many years. One of actually the first in the area to do that. It's run out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And what we do is we provide a service for us that all of our student athletes go through prior to them competing in an activity that provides a baseline result. And it's a test that you look at reaction time, and it has pictures and it times how much their reaction time is under normal circumstances.
Sorry, Casey, can I just interject here? I'm so sorry. I don't want to put you on the spot to have to explain this, and I know there's a time constraint, but if somehow we could provide the information to show board members that this is what we do, because I know, I just think it's an interesting fact for others to learn about what we do, because if you start going to other board meetings and whatnot, there are districts that are quite there.
Yeah, we can share that another subject or another
in a report.
But we have all the information. I have all the information.
Just to brag on Casey a little bit, I don't know, how have you been in our district?
7 years now.
Oh. You said I say 14?
I was going to say 4 or 5.
I say 14.
So he really brought this program to our district really early on and was one of the leaders in the state and has worked with our ADs throughout the years. So he could talk on this for a long time, so I'm glad you
That's why
But we have
he has that mellow voice right toward the end of the evening.
That's my bedtime. So.
All right, move us back to the drug and alcohol policy.
Okay, SRO, you said each of
one of our schools gets touched by an SRO?
Yeah, each one of our schools has an SRO or law enforcement agent assigned to them, a single person.
So an SRO would maybe have 3 schools, 4 schools?
So how we break that up is that our secondary schools, so high school and middle school, a high school and a middle school share 1 person. And then our county rural schools, so there's 8 of those that share a person. And then our elementary schools within the city are broken up and they're shared between 3 or 4 people. City of North Plains, the police chief acts as our de facto SRO. He fulfills that role. He's great to work with. And so he's their person.
And Casey, tell them, I can't remember the number off the top of my head, how many SROs and how many are funded by the city?
Okay, so here's how we have 7 SROs in total from Hillsboro Police Department. We fund 1 of those, and the city provides the other 6 with the sergeant supervisors. And Sergeant O, who supervises them, he's not technically an SRO, but he's the liaison, oversees them, and assists on all kinds of things that we have going on. The county SRO, we fund half of that position, and the county funds the other half, and he has, I think I misspoke, he has 9 schools. We had added free orchards to him, and Chief Snyder provides this service free of charge. We definitely have a good bang for our buck with the amount of work that we do.
Yeah.
Monty, did you have another one?
Yeah, I just want to give you credit for this, for the survey results going down, because I give you a hard time if they're going up. I want to give you credit for declaring going
Thank
down.
you. I can't take much credit. It's all these programs.
So a reminder, this is just on first reading, so if you think of more questions or comments between now and when we approve, Casey's your guy to send emails to.
And I will pull the data for the statewide comparison if that's the case. To figure out if you really deserve that credit, not people. Yeah. Well, I can tell you, our results have gone down.
So Casey has the next one as well, emergency drills.
Yep, so a lot of what you have in front of us is the result of House Bill 2789 about new requirements for emergency drills and safety threats. A lot of this is just updated language. We are fully compliant with all of these drills. We actually are a little more stringent. We have a couple of added drills that isn't necessarily required by law, but we feel is best practice for us. So all of this language fits within our practice and is suggested language through OSBA.
Anyone have questions? All right. Well, hold on. We got one more, right?
Yep, I do.
All right, here we go. Public conduct on district property.
Okay, again, at the end or last year, I came and spoke about House Bill 2292 in a lot of forms and fashion, whether it dealt with school discipline issues or reporting. This is another one of those that has touched us, the public conduct on district property. And what it did is it has incorporated some of the components of House Bill 2192 into district policy. So as you look at it, it expanded on kind of the number 1 outlined here about injure or threaten to injure another. It included harassment, bullying, intimidation, verbal language, submitting a false report. Also, one of the things that we highlighted is it talked about the use of weapon, and we wanted to make sure we keep the language consistent with our policy on weapons in schools, so we cited that as opposed to outlining everything that would be encompassing that, because our policy was well vetted and is fairly comprehensive. Those are the main highlights for that. It just outlines what we expect for public conduct on district property.
Questions or comments on this policy? All right, so like the others, 30-day review, and send questions to Casey. Thanks, Casey.
Thank you.
And the next first reading is evaluation of staff. Comment.
So I have the first reading for Senate Bill 290 around evaluation of staff for classified and licensed, and these are the OSBA suggestions that align with Senate Bill 290, and so we're putting them up for a 30-day review. If you have any questions, I will.
language process? Monty?
Yeah, we say classified, evaluated at least twice during the first year of employment, at least once a year thereafter, but we don't say anything about licensed staff as far as frequency.
With Senate Bill 290, staff are evaluated every other year. We used to be on a 3-year cycle for our evaluation process, so now licensed staff are evaluated every other year. Are you asking if we want to put when that happens and occurs into this?
Yeah, I'd like to see it in there just so I don't have to ask that question again.
And is there a chance that would change if Senate Bill 290 still kind of keeps fleshing out?
That could be a possibility. We're actually we're a part of a group that goes to the professional learning team, and we're going 3 times during this year with administrators and licensed staff to learn more just about all the pieces around educator effectiveness. So we'll be going in the end of this week to learn more about all of these steps.
Keep on changing. Eric?
Yeah, so I just wanted to point out, we don't necessarily have to embed the period for evaluating licensed staff in the policy itself, right? We can trust Mike to do something reasonable there and leave it a little loose in the written policy. That might be better off if there's maybe changes to the law and stuff later on.
Any other questions or comments? All right.
Just since Connor's going to be working on this, so I just need some direction from the board. Do we want to see it in or do we not?
Is it in the contract?
I think Monty's point was that it's set up for one but not the other.
So there's some consistency one way or the other.
Was it important to say it for the other one? Because it could go either way, I guess.
I guess the other one is not mandated by state law.
Classified is not mandated. Yeah.
Right, and the licensed one is.
It makes more sense to consistently trust Mike to do the period. I don't think that's something you have to embed in a policy.
I agree.
I agree with that too. Take it out for class.
There is an element of setting an expectation of frequency of evaluation.
But that's in the contract, right? It is. It's in contract.
And it's Senate Bill.
Yeah, we have an evaluation handbook contract.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And the next one is Matt, in first reading of policy IGBHB, alternative education programs.
Good evening again. Similar to the presentation earlier, we have a policy that talks about the establishment of our alternative education programs. The changes that you see here in this first reading document demonstrates the recommendations from OSBA on what we should change. Adds a little bit different language in there regarding accreditation, etc. Any questions that I can answer?
Monty?
Number 5, where we replace instruction with some word I can't pronounce.
Pedagogy.
What does that mean?
The practice of teachers in the classroom.
Okay. And so they're mandating we change this?
It's a recommended change.
Okay.
It's just matching their language.
And you speak.
Any other questions or comments for Matt? Thank you.
Thank you.
Go.
I ended up one. Number 11, where you're changing the accrediting body. Was that required by the law?
2012, we used to be, actually this policy is a little outdated as well. The Northwest Association of Schools and Colleges changed to the Northwest Accreditation Commission a while ago, and then that was actually became a part of Advanced Ed. Advanced Ed's a national accreditation organization, so this is just matching the body that actually accredits the schools in Oregon right now.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
And next up, we're going to talk about the curriculum adoption cycle and our postponement of some materials.
Thank you. According to Division 22 requirements on public education agencies in the state, it's a requirement that we notify the board and the public regarding our intention to postpone the adoption of instructional materials when we are off cycle from the state's proposed 7-year cycle for each content area. And Steve notified the board last year that we were intending to submit permission to do so for several content areas. And we will do that in spite of the fact that we're currently in the process of doing a math adoption at our high schools, and a K-12 science study team convened in the spring. At this time, we intend to submit the paperwork to continue postponing adoption until we're able to adopt in science, world languages, health and physical education, social science, and art. And I also just wanted the board to know that, as Steve shared with you also, the state is in the process of updating the way they require us to do materials adoptions in light of the fact that there are so many resources available online, digital resources you can buy or get for free. We're awaiting new guidance from ODE, but until the time we get new guidance, we'll continue to submit this application to postpone annually and notify you that we're doing so. So if you have any questions about that process, I'd be happy to answer.
Questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Mike is to present his superintendent goals.
So we spent several hours on the strategic plan information over these last couple months, and you'll see that I basically have two goals. The first one is to, but the first one is to implement year 4 of the strategic plan. So that's
Kind of a big one.
pages and pages and pages. And then the other one is equally as challenging, and that's to provide you all with the professional development opportunities that you're after, and just to provide information to you and keep you updated and educate you on those things that you are wanting to learn more about. So very similar to last year. Worked well for us, and those are the goals that I present.
I would just like to say I appreciate the more concise list versus the, you had.
Yeah, too many.
Yeah, too many.
Yeah.
You did them all.
Yeah.
You know, I just appreciate the more focused, and I think a lot of that conversation came out of the committee work that we had with on the superintendent evaluation, and I think that will only help us when we're looking at our board goals and be able to be more focused. So.
There are only 2 bullet points, but there's a lot of work. So.
It is.
Okay. Adam, financial report.
Yeah, I'm going to go off script a little bit. I'm not going to talk about my report. I wanted to, as I think everybody is aware, we had a little mess up with our payroll this last week.
Hiccup.
A little hiccup, which obviously we're not proud of. What I'm really proud of is the way my staff in the business office responded to that, and the way the staff in general, district-wide, responded to that. They were so understanding. When you start messing with people's paychecks, it can get, really uncomfortable. And I gotta say, our staff just really was really professional. I had more emails, just thanking us for trying to do what we could at the time, and it was just, I really appreciated it. I know our staff really appreciates it, and it was one of those things you never want to go through, but I was really proud of the way the whole group responded. So I'm happy to answer any other questions about the report, but I wanted to make sure I said that.
Just to make the comment, it's happened multiple times that, it's happened in the history of my 17 years of working in the company I have. It happens, but it all gets taken care of. So I think that speaks a lot that you're leading your group and giving them the praise of handling that.
Well, we may screw something up again. We will not screw it up this way again. I promise you.
Can you say the number again of how many banking institutions you had to contact?
127.
The net effect on them was the checks are half a day late, or?
No, the net effect was that everybody got paid, almost everybody got paid on Friday. What happened was the ACH transfer had the wrong date on it, so we had to cancel the ACH payment. do a wire transfer instead. So the other confusing part of that was that the ACH file was sitting out there pending. So a lot of folks looked like they had been double paid until that ACH payment was reversed. So we've taken care of all that. The last bit.
You didn't get as many calls about that.
No. Well,
That's
actually,
when those emails came in.
got lots of emails.
You're fantastic. I think you should be the grand.
Yeah, the last part of it was because it was a wire transfer. A lot of banks have a wire transfer fee that we're working with the banks to reverse. And what we've told our staff is if you have, you won't have any out-of-pocket costs. So if there's any kind of fee or anything that we need to reimburse, then we'll do that. But
Get a picture of just like a row of small children with teary eyes saying, the money comes out of our pockets. Don't charge us the fees.
so anyway,
Right.
that's how.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Peterson, I see you in the audience. Did you want to? Sometimes the ESD speaks up, and sometimes.
No report tonight.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Swing by anytime.
Yeah.
3 or 4 hours to lose.
It's been the best part of my day.
Sorry.
We're going to be at your place on the 1st.
And HCU and HCA.
Good evening. I'm Jill Golay, and I was recently elected Vice President of the Hillsboro Education Association, so I'm here tonight to introduce myself. I feel like I know almost everybody here, but I'm also excited to be part of the collaborative team that's attending the ODE PLT this Thursday and Friday to help ensure that we're meeting the effective ed goals and expectations. I wanted to share some of the things that the teachers in the Hillsboro Education Association has done. We actually participated for the 4th year in the Hillsboro Market, giving away books. It's called Book Swap or Adopt. I think some of you, if you've gone to the market, have seen us there. And it's really exciting to have the opportunity to give away books to our students throughout the summer. And it actually is self-sustaining now. We have the community members and retired teachers and teachers donating books. And so the kids look forward to us being there. So that's something that we as an association are going to continue to do and support the community. We also had the opportunity to help welcome over 200 new hires this year by hosting a lunch one day at the new teacher orientation. And so we're currently making sure those new teachers know that they have a building rep in their building and just that we're here to support them as well as the district. Things that we're also doing are, as teachers, we're working on preparing for a back-to-school night. And my back-to-school night is Thursday, and I'll be meeting parents of 29 eager 4th graders at Fair Oaks Elementary, and I'm excited to do that. And then the union is also providing workshops throughout the year for not only the new hires, but also our veteran members, and things like how to manage your money on a new teacher's salary, which is difficult to do sometimes, as well as workshops that help learn how to write effective student growth goals. Those are just a couple of new workshops throughout the year at the OEA office, just right down the street. And I just wanted to also, just another shout out to the Quality Ed Festival. It's really a fantastic way for us teachers as well as community people to work together and to focus on what's best for kids and to really celebrate what we do. And that is, to educate our students and our future. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Schuster. I'm here again. I'm here to talk for the union, HCU, about some interesting things. But before I do that, I have one comment because I have a microphone. I want to thank Adam Stewart for his communication to the office managers. I'm the office manager of transportation. That kept us abreast of what was going on in the financial crisis of the lives of some very crazy bus people. And we were able to copy those, print those, post those, and get those out as soon as they were sent to us. This created a calm that is fairly rare, and a whole world of a little less confusion. And I really want to personally thank you for that, because I do the payroll for transportation. Thank you. So tonight I have watched this board working and your preparation for not only what's going to happen next year, but the year after, and clear up to 2025, buildings, planning, thinking about it, prepping the work for it. What would it be like, I want to ask the board this, what would it be like if you didn't plan for it? You waited until the 5,000 houses were built on South Meadows, or South Hillsboro, and then you started to think about where a school would be. How would that be? What kind of pressure would that be? How would you feel? Pretty terrible. Time is critical, and you are great managers of it, and stewards of the money of the citizens of this state. Classified people need time to prep. They need a calendar that reflects that. I talked with several education assistants who are greatly affected by this critically needed prep time. They are the unsung heroes who struggle with terrible time constraints to meet the needs of some of our most sensitive students. And it is about the kids. They sacrifice their own time. They don't go on the clock. They just do the work. Because of the lack of prep time, there is a domino effect that happens, something you probably haven't thought about. But students that are not met by their assistant when they arrive at school before it starts delay the buses getting emptied so they can move on to the next stop. The bus is then late for the next school, and so on and so on. And this has led to students missing breakfast. That affects nutrition services too. And the parent complaints. And I hear those from where I work because I answer the phones. The bus timing is correct. They work very hard to make that schedule correct. 15 minutes, 1/4 of an hour before school starts would go a long way to cure a lot of problems. There wouldn't be missed lunches. The students would have someone to meet them at the buses. The rooms would be ready for them when they got there. Starting time for an assistant is exactly the same time as the bell rings. That's like telling you you can't plan on doing anything for those tremendous number of acres and number of students and number of houses that are going to go up in South Hillsboro. You have to wait. You wait till the bell rings before you start. Can you work like that? Have you worked like that? No. Because you're smart. And you realize that that prep time is worth every minute you take for the failures that could come because you didn't take the time. Why not allow our special needs assistants that same margin? 15 minutes, 1/4 of 1 hour could make the world of difference in our schools. And I'm asking you to please consider it. We stood by this district during the hard cuts. Classified people even reopened their contract, and they didn't have to. They did not have to. They had a contract set. They opened that contract and took lower pay to help the district out. When do you think that the district should give it back? Now there's a little money, hopefully growing year by year. And I would ask you to please consider that they've lost 3-4 steps. It's a lot of money. It's a tight time. People are suffering. And some of our lowest paid people won't stay. I mean, you look at a groundskeeper, the pay rate is so low that you look at the retention, and I would suggest that you look at the retention of groundskeepers. There is one plumber for the entire district. One. 40-odd buildings? Is that reasonable? 4 groundskeepers for 40 buildings? 4? Is that reasonable? The pay is so low that people will not stay. As soon as they get their spray licenses, they go to Hillsboro Park and Rec where they're paid 4 times as much. This is a ridiculous situation. It's untenable. The facilities department has had 15 or 18 to 20 people working there for years. How much bigger is this district? What sort of workload is put on these people? And really, what kind of maintenance can you expect? Are you going to pay to remodel buildings? Why don't you pay the people to take care of them? To paint them, to weed them, to fix the leaky faucets and the dripping roof before the roof falls down, before the plumbing comes up through the floor. It does not make sense. It's not economical. You're smarter to put your money into your people who can keep your buildings, keep your buses, keep your students fed, keep things running on time. Put a little there. I know it's not a priority. Building a new building is. Special needs programs are. Language opportunities are. These things are important. But I have to tell you that the underpinning of all of that are the classified workers who go to work every single day to maintain the facilities, make sure the kids get there safe, and make sure that they have enough food. So I would appeal to you to at least, as you're budgeting, to consider classified. It's important. Thank you.
All right, next up is Superintendent.
Just a quick response to that. The result of $70 million of reductions over the last 4 or 5 years, one of those results has been a reduction in classified hours. And just like that money was not reduced all in 1 year, the add backs are not going to happen all in 1 year. We added a couple $100,000 back to classified time this year. It'll continue to be a priority, but it's not going to happen in 1 year. And is the comparison with the school dollars, building a school, as compared to staffing a school, different pots of money that can't overlap. So there's much more to the story than, not as simple as you make it sound. Let's put it that way. And that I wouldn't want you to go away from here thinking that classified staffing is not a priority. It is a priority, as is lowering class size, as is keeping teachers in front of students. So with that said, I'll go on to the comments that I was going to make. Just 3 quick things. Had the opportunity to visit Eastwood Elementary, where just an excellent visit, to be back in front of students again and to have the opportunity to see the teachers in action and the classified folks in action. It was a pleasure. Also saw one of our new principals in action. She, during our visit, there was kind of a student emergency. There was an incident that took place, and I could tell her desire to babysit me during my visit, as well as deal with this program. I finally said, we just go, I'm good. And she did great. So Lindsay Garcia is the new principal there. Future Leaders Program, we just had our first meeting yesterday. Really excited about our group of future leaders. If you were to look at our administrative team, our entire team across the district, you would see that probably 60 to 70% of the people that we currently have employed as administrators have been in the Future Leaders Program. It's a program that works for us. It gives us great exposure to them and them to us, and we're excited about the new crop of people that we have in. And finally, I should say that Steve always gives Adam a bad time because he claims that Adam wins awards for everything he does. And if there was an award for fixing a mistake, he would have got one yesterday, and Steve would have still been bragging about that. So a great, just an absolute great response by this team for an unfortunate situation. And what he didn't tell you is that 95% of the people, by the end of the day, we were good and we met all of our obligations, and there was just a handful of people that he and his team continued to deal with over the weekend. So thank you.
Okay, board members, Eric?
Yeah, well, it's been a long night. Thanks for staying, everyone. I have more to say.
I was really excited to see amongst the 200 new hires, there's someone from my alma mater, Cal State University, LA. He's over at Refill, so I don't know why I was flipping through and I just said, see, oh my gosh, that's the second person I met from my university, so that was really exciting. About the crazy bus drivers. Oh my gosh, I love that one because I was a SPED healthcare assistant in LA Unified for about 8 years, and I used to have to meet my crazy bus driver at my kiddo's home, medically fragile child, and he was crazy. But like he said, I might be crazy, but I'm so full of love. And he says, we have to be. He says, we're the first pickup for these kids who are coming from homes You know, we need to have that smile. So that just, when you said the crazy bus drivers, it took me back because I love to be in that environment. You know, the crazy bus drivers at the construction store. So, and thank you for all your work and all of it.
Well, I'm excited about the new year. It was great to meet the new teachers. It was wonderful to go to the teacher orientation. That was quite an experience, and it was touching, impressive. Like that. Looking forward to a full school year. I'm really excited to be able to fulfill the contract that was agreed to and meet those obligations. And I'm grateful for the upturn that we can use to advantage the students. Keep it going. To Mike, I hope it wasn't my son that caused the disruption the principal used. Because there was an incident that I'm familiar with last night as well.
Board member's son.
So that might have been the reason for extra grief. Other than that,
And Glenn?
Well, as the winter turns wet, my thoughts go to the kids that are out there participating in their sports and marching band and all that stuff. The dedication that they have, so I just want to compliment them on that. And I want to relate one quick brief story. This weekend we had the first marching band competition of the season. It was really more of an exhibition. You get to spend some time with the judges. It was really fantastic. We had 5 or 6 bands there. It was great. But the point that was just really cool for me was, of course, my daughter was getting ready to go on. Liberty High School was the ones that were hosting, so we were doing the exhibition. That was great. Just as they was walking on the field, the air show's going on, and we had overflight of the jets just flying right across the field, which is fantastic. It's really cool. And the whole time they were performing, the jets are going in the back. I had a blast. Then I had to run back and wait for the concession. So anyway, it was fun.
I wanted to say a couple things. I wanted to say that hopefully that around the adding back of the calendar day that we have some really strong, I think that we really should not lose that point of saying about this is the shortest, and our goal is to just continue and build this calendar year and, create a little awareness around this opportunity. So that's, if somehow we can do that. I will be participating on the 27th on Saturday at W. Henry for the synopsis work day. Have rallied a couple of folks from my company to do so as well. So that's going to be good times. And they promised the artwork was paint by number, which they can only be thankful of that because my art history. I wanted to comment on when you talk about new staff, new principals, new teachers. 2 things. I wanted to say that I can speak from experience as far as because my son is a senior at Liberty High School, that I had the opportunity to sit with the new principal, Greg Timmons, and to be able to see what he has done with his staff, with the community, with parents, with students, sitting down with them and showing them this vision of building a positive culture within that school. And what would it take to get there? And his timeline is pretty extensive. I mean, it's serious, and it's I forget, I'm losing the word that I think it's aggressive. But he's going to do it, and he's met with all these different groups to be able to say, what is it that has worked? What hasn't worked? What do you imagine? Like 3 questions. And I really appreciate that, and I see really good things happening for Liberty High School, and I hear some really positive things from all sorts of folks there. So thank you. I'm really excited about that. The new connections at the teachers luncheon, the orientation, I remember sitting down at lunch talking with a counselor. So sorry, I apologize, I don't remember. The counselor from Hill High. And we were talking about, my son and his interest in firefighting. And she said, you really need to check out Polk County and Clatsop County because they have these wonderful opportunities for students and internships and paid college opportunities. And I'm like, wow. And I can't tell you just from that little bit of information how many people I have shared that with who also have sons, daughters that are interested in fire science. And they're like, oh my goodness, how did you find that out? And where do I need to go? And so it's like, I say, you need to call the counselor Bill High. Because, I mean, I don't know the details, or call the fire stations directly. So having those opportunities where you're sitting down, it's in that moment. You talk about the day, that was a moment that I had a conversation and the potential of maybe, hopefully, helping someone with a college opportunity that, with funding and whatnot, just because she shared that information. So I appreciate that. And final is bravo to the presentations tonight. It's very inspiring. I think the more opportunity that we can have students involved and staff involved, you guys aren't exciting. When you have those students and how they come and present and really share from their perspective what they're getting out of this experience, and the students that are putting their neck and their time out in participating in the CCAC, wow, that says a lot. So thank you. See?
I would just like to again commend Mike on the district kickoff meeting we had. We should have that every year.
No, sure.
And I'm surprised that everybody's surprised that the finance department came through. I mean, this is normal stuff for financial people. It's not how it's not how you perform when everything's going great. It's how you perform in tough times. And so that doesn't surprise me that Adam's group came through.
I just wanted to know, I think those experiences we're doing with college and career pathways, the students you heard from tonight were having experiences that prove to them that they want to stay in that field, but just as much has happened with students who have decided, no, that's not their field. And that's a great, awesome learning opportunity to know, like, I think this is going to fit, and you get there and you're like, no, it's not going to fit. I don't want to have a day job so I can play at night or whatever. And so just as I'm looking at program, just thinking about the potential we have for this work and how important it is to have those experiences that don't come in a textbook and don't come from a teacher talking at you. They come from being out in the world and playing. And so thank you to the partners who helped make all that work happen. And also wanted to thank the School Foundation had their first ever run on the runway on Sunday morning, and there were a couple of us there helping host that. It was really awesome. They actually let them run on the runway. I don't know about you guys. I thought they were going to be like looping back and forth on just one little stretch, and they really got to go all around the airport while there were airplanes coming and going. It was kind of cool, and I can't wait to see that event grow. And it was a fundraiser for the foundation, and so again, just comes back and benefits our kids, which is awesome. So with that, we are adjourned. Right now.